Welcome to part 3 of Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog, and now we're in a zone where we're gonna go fast again, Spring Yard Zone. Though most of that speed is gained through springs, hence Spring Yard Zone. Though I don't think I brought up the springs before, they're those yellow and red bouncy things that bounce us. Yet springs bounce us further and higher than the yellow springs do, though sometimes they're not really there to help you, more so to get in your way. I think in Marble Zone there were a few that would bounce you right into a Batnik. And Batniks are the robots, the names of the robots. Though they all have individual names, such as Crab, Meat or Catter Killer. Now, even though this is one of the faster zones, this zone also represents my biggest problem with this game, and that's its level design. Not to say I hate the entirety of Spring Yard Zone, but well, I'll get into it next act. If I get into it now, I won't have enough time to talk about the special stage, because yes, we're finally gonna get to another special stage again. Isn't that exciting? What do you mean no? Well, tough luck, we're doing it anyway. Because last time I only explained the basics of the special stage, but there's a lot more to talk about. Oh, and also those hidden spaces that give you points when you pass them right after the goalpost. Though I don't really give a shit because I don't really care about the score I have. Though I do think that the one that says 1000 only gives you 100 points, so a zero too many, I guess. And now for my least favorite special stage, is number 3, because instead of being a maze like the others, this one is one giant, big, round, open area with not many places to get footing on, so it can be kinda hard to stay there long enough to break all the crystals to get to the emerald. But what else is in the special stage? Well, there are the bumpers that bounce you around, just like the bumpers we saw in Spring Yard Zone, which is the only place they appear outside of the special stages. There are blocks that say R, which makes the stage rotate the other way. Those are goal blocks, which if you hit them, the special stage ends without you getting the Chaos Emerald, so those are not your goal. Blocks that say up, making the stage spin faster. Blocks that say down, which will make the stage spin slower. The crystals that we need to break, and the rings which will give us a continue when we get enough of them. And a continue is basically if you run out of your lives and get a game over, you get to try again from the beginning of that zone or that level, one of the two. Either way, you're not beginning from your last checkpoint. There are also 2 special stage blocks that are shown in the manual that never appear in the actual game. Those are W blocks, which are suspected to be like warp zones that will get you to another zone. And extra life blocks, which will get you an extra life. But now let's get into why I don't like this game's level design, and Spring Yard Zone is pretty much the biggest defender of that. It's the fact that they use gimmicks and level set pieces, like these half pipes with the spike balls. We've seen those before in the previous act and we're gonna see them more. And Spring Yard has the most of those things, like these things, which we also see multiple times in this zone, which is not fun. That's also a big problem, it's the fact that the gimmicks they use aren't fun. Or fast. Same goes for the block over lava parts in Marble Zone. Like, if some of these set pieces were just in there once, then it would be fine. But no, we're gonna have to ride the blocks multiple times, and we're gonna have to go through the half pipe with the spiked balls multiple times, and this pit with all the bumpers. They keep using these specific parts and you get sick of them. So, well, I mean, it's the first game in the series, and I'm glad to see that the games after this improve on this. They don't really keep doing that. Or they keep using level gimmicks that are fun, mostly. The point is, I can forgive the flaws this game has, because 1, it's the first one, 2, they improve on it in later games. Also, it's time for a little fun fact. This zone was originally called Sparkling Zone, but the title was just too goddamn fabulous to be in the game. Also, while we're doing fun facts anyway, there are 2 real-life genes that are named after the Sonic the Hedgehog series. One is named Sonic Hedgehog, so original, and the opposing gene called Robotnik, named after Robotnik. I guess that whoever discovered those genes was a fan of the franchise. Either way, that's another fun fact segment. And now we're back in the special stages, and my god do I hope that they never make a first-person version of Sonic the Hedgehog 1. Hell, if virtual reality ever becomes a thing, I'm avoiding these special stages for the life of me. On a side note, I think if virtual reality ever does become a thing, the world might damn near fall apart and it will become an illegal drug. I mean, think about it. With virtual reality, people won't even need other drugs anymore, and it's gonna become an addiction even without having actual addictive fluids or whatever in it. Then again, I never actually tried drugs, but I'm assuming it's something like what I'm looking at on the screen right now. Hell, Sonic 1 might even be the result of drugs. I mean, I did say this game is designed around speed, if you know what I mean. Oh, bad jokes. I think I made a joke earlier in part 1 anyway, so that makes it even worse. Maybe I should make it a title card. CrimsonAce, feels that's funny. Horrendous humor. Crappy comedy. Other alliterations. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about alliterations once we get to Sonic CD. First oh yeah, the end screen of the special stages actually tells you if you got a continue, so that's useful. Maybe the little Sonic is a continue. I'm just gonna take that little Sonic as an indication that he doesn't actually revive, he just gets replaced by another Sonic. Also, that little continue sign Sonic actually becomes a playable character in Sonic CD, sort of, not really. It's just Sonic shrunken down, but he looks exactly like the continue icon. Plus, I'm gonna get ahead of myself a bit, because it's something I'll get more into in the next zone, but notice how there are mountains in the background, just like there are mountains in the background of Marble Zone, but a little closer. Like we progressed from Marble Zone to this zone, but also notice how there's a city between where we are now in the mountains. Like there's some sort of other zone between Marble Zone and Spring Yard Zone. Starlight Zone. Just maybe try to keep that in mind for when we get to part 4 and part 5. Back to this zone. I like its music. Very, very jazzy. Like all the other casino levels in this series. Hey, weren't we just here? Oh yeah, repeating level gimmicks. Or more so a set piece than a gimmick. Or a level structure. You know, like this one. Hey, weren't we just here? Oh yeah, repeating level set pieces. I forgot about you with the last 4 seconds we were in that other repeated level segment. Also, as we're about to see in a second when we break open this Batnik, pigs. Normal, real-life pigs. A bit small, but still, normal animals. So, where the fuck does Sonic come from? Clearly this universe has normal animals, so I wondered, does it also have normal hedgehogs? And oh, here's a new level gimmick. This one's interesting. We press this switch to get this block moving. Then we must go to the other side fast enough, because the block will close off this path, and there are goodies here, and I like goodies. Now this could be an interesting challenge, except the game gives you invincibility and speed sneakers right before getting to that part, so challenge go bye-bye. And we're closing in on the end of Act 3, so that means it's boss time again. With that boss theme that's kind of eerie. I think that's why Robotnik Eggman looks a lot more threatening in this game than he does in other games, because of this boss theme he has. So about the boss itself, we have all these blocks here and he tries to remove all the blocks one by one so we will fall to our death. Now, I'm fighting this boss a lot slower than most people normally would. That's because on multiple test recordings I just fell through the floor randomly without even standing on the block he was about to remove, so I don't know what the hell caused that. I got sick of that after a while, so I just decided to take it slow, take my time and be careful, and look, he's already defeated, so he didn't even have to be that slow, but people would normally defeat him in like 4 seconds. Either way, see you next time when we get to part 4 of Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog.